How we doing, everyone? Welcome back to another edition of FSI's NFL DFS Preview Show. I'm your host, TK Nation 47, bringing you guys another NFL Showdown preview of tomorrow's Chicago-Detroit Turkey Day Showdown event. We have the first game on a three-game slate of traditional Thanksgiving Day football. Bear with me through this video as I am feeling a little under the weather, a little stuffy nose. But nothing to be alarmed. I will still get my food and football ready for tomorrow. Anyway, but let's get into this slate. As you can see, I am screen sharing the big DraftKings $50,000 to first place of lobby. We have Detroit and Chicago. This is a 41.5 point total. It looks like Detroit is a slight favorite here, or Chicago is a slight favorite here. But DeAndre Swift, I think, poses, the best option on the slate for raw points. Last week versus Cleveland, he only had 14 rushing attempts, but he had 136 on the ground. That's back-to-back weeks with 130 yards, as you can see here. With a touchdown, he has that target upside as well. He averages close to 5 catches a game. It's really impressive stuff from DeAndre Swift this year. Top 5 back, all-purpose yards. He's probably the best bet here for captain. I really don't mind Montgomery as well. He seems to have taken over his role as the lead back. He does have some targets, but not too much as he slowly comes back from injury. As you can see in his last game against Detroit, he had 23 attempts for 106 yards, 2 touchdowns on the ground. We could easily see something like that again with Andy Dalton under center. A little bit more of a traditional offense rather than what we've seen with Fields lately. So I really like this spot for Montgomery and Andy Dalton. I think these top 3 plays, even maybe the top 4 plays are the plays, and then it's just kind of figure out the rest. Andy Dalton coming in, he had thrown 2 touchdowns in his last game, coming in relief for Fields against Baltimore, 200 yards in that short stint of on the field. Andy Dalton, this isn't a tough opponent. Detroit was really soft in coverage versus Cleveland last week. Baker just could not make a throw. Unfortunate for us, but Andy Dalton coming in a little bit more fresh, 100% healthy. I think he should have no problem versus the Lions. Darnell Moody, I think this will be my next favorite captain pick here. He had a monster game last game, 16 targets with Allen Robinson out. It does look like Robinson is doubtful again. So Moody could be the big play threat for the Chicago tomorrow. I think that makes him a really intriguing captain option. As you can see, if you kind of load up here, you got to really punt the rest, right? You got to get down to this bottom tier. I think you might be able to find some, sorry for the crazy scrolling. You might be able to find some crazy value here. Jimmy Graham has been back from injury here since week 9. 3 targets versus Pittsburgh, 3 targets versus Baltimore. He's got a couple of catches in those games. We know Jimmy Graham can be a monster around the goal line here. See, this is really tough. This Mbukwe guy, he does play a little bit, but Jefferson, questionable. If he's active, that pretty much takes Mbukwe out. So you might have to find yourself fading one of these guys up top. Even if it is a Montgomery, you can get to this mid-tier here and maybe find yourself a Khalif Raymond. 6 targets against Pittsburgh, 4 catches. He seems to be, I guess, their de facto number 1 wide receiver. Usually they use Hawkinson and Swift more so than they use, the wide receiver core. As you can see here, you're going to have to really, really get crazy. But I really like Jimmy Graham here to kind of help you out with the rest of your lineup. I think both defenses can be in play as well. Chicago for sure, 5,800, 6 sacks against Baltimore, 4 sacks versus Pittsburgh. They've been playing a lot better since getting destroyed versus some of the tougher teams, San Fran, Tampa Bay, and Green Bay. So I don't mind the Chicago Bears defense in this game. Next up, we have, I would go with Cole Kmet. Cole Kmet, big play tight end threat here. As you can see in that Pittsburgh game, 8 targets for 87 yards. He had 6 catches. He did lose a little bit of his luster versus the Baltimore Ravens, but that's a really tough defense, right? But he seems to have a decent floor, and he's not too expensive either. Only 5K. You could really make that work in any of your lineups. But really, it's shaping up that you're really going to need someone like Jimmy Graham. And then I think a sleeper here in this game could be Josh Reynolds, someone that was signed off of waivers for Detroit, coming over from Tennessee. He was signed to Tennessee as a big time signing from Los Angeles, but unfortunately things didn't work out after they traded for Julio Jones, and then they had a couple of young rookie wide receivers like Westbrook Akina and Marcus Johnson really step into their own. So Josh Reynolds kind of got pushed out of flavor for the Tennessee Titans, and he found his way to Detroit, a team that has no wide receivers on their team. So, with Cephas out, St. Brown's kind of just there. He's just kind of on the outside. I mean, he does actually have some decent games here. I should take that a little bit more serious. St. Brown, a bigger wide receiver, but I think Josh Reynolds might be able to do something out of the slot if they're coming from behind. So I don't mind him. Cairo Santos will probably be the last guy I talk about here. I do think you can play Detroit's defense, but I don't know, not for me. 2,600 is cheap, but I don't think so. Santos has some decent games here. He's getting the dome, so he's going to have, no weather to work against him. I really like Santos here in his first game versus Detroit. He did have a field goal, a couple extra points, 6 points, 4K, not terrible. You're actually getting better here with more room to run here on your lineup. It's really hard to get to Hawkinson too. I guess the other news of note is Jared Goff is in line to start. If you feel like you have the urge to play Jared Goff, I would. I don't think it's viable. I think you can, but man, it's just a struggle to play Goff with no rushing upside. I don't think there's going to be many touchdowns in this game, so I don't see Jared Goff getting there. I think it's more about Swift. It's more about Hawkinson, maybe Josh Reynolds, or St. Brown, actually, from the Detroit side. So that would be it for me from Detroit. But hopefully this little tutorial here on this showdown slate was helpful. As always, you can follow me on Twitter at TKNation47. You can follow us at FSI_DFS. And you can follow us on our website, FSIDFS.com. Guys, thank you for listening into this quick video. Thank you for bearing with me and my slight illness tonight. Hopefully you have a good time tomorrow for your Thanksgiving endeavors. Stay tuned for 2 more showdown breakdowns from 2 of my favorite colleagues, Keats and Gator Guy. They will be breaking down the other 2 games on this slate of 3 games. So enjoy your Thanksgiving, everyone, and I hope you have a good turkey day. Thank you.